Today's topics choose happiness. Awareness transforms reaction into response. Emotions are energy. Curiosity unlocks your true potential.
Rambling on, no straight lines. Welcome to my busy mind.
Hello and welcome to episode 28 of Ramblings of a Busy Mind. And I cannot believe that we actually made that point already. And as you hear, I have a very bad voice today, but everything's going to be fine. I might have to mute in between because I'm coughing, which is why I have a cough drop in my mouth. But I'm happy to have the chance to have a talk with Karen Bonnett-Natraj. And I said before, I'm going to put my spin to it because it doesn't work with the French accent like you say it. Introduce yourself. It's the easiest because you are like, yeah.
Introduce myself. Hey, everybody, I'm Karen Bonnett-Natraj. I am, I'm a couple things in life. I have a very full life. I'm a powerful and very transforming mental fitness coach. And I transform people's mindset from that overwhelmed stress, constant anxiety, constant fear, ruminating to a peace and calm through a very short but long journey life of applying this to your life to create your life from that constant negative mindset to a positive mindset where you can show up and respond in life as opposed to always reacting to everything that's going on. On the other side, I'm an ultra distance athlete. So ultra distance means long distance. So I used to be a very long distance cyclist, riding 1200 Ks, and then I got into running. Now I run 100-mile runs and have done quite a few of those, and long distance swimming and playing in life, playing full out is what I do.
Yeah, not me. Sorry. I'm not a long distance anything. Let's say it this way. Right now with the cough, I'm happy when I can get the dog to the ocean to have a swim in and come back and not cough my lungs out.
Swim would be good for you. That really opens up. That's one thing I love about swimming is that it opens up my lungs. And when I come into altitude, I like to go swim because I get acclimated to the altitude a lot faster.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
You said something very, very important, which I try to install in people too, which is the happiness factor. In your happiness and choosing happiness in your life.
Yep.
Because that's a very, very big point where you start to remove stressors out of your life. You start to change the outlook or your look at things and your perspective of things. Because when you change to happy in opposed to victimhood or survivor or whatever you want to call it, like the lower signs of beings, however you want to call it, you change into I take charge of my life and I make it good. Most people don't do that.
That's true. It's energy. So when we get into that victim, the apathy, the overwhelm, the stresses, we stay in a very dark, it's kind of a dark energy. And you really can't move out of that unless you have the tools and the mindset, the mental fitness part of that, of shifting in the moment and just being aware of that. What does that feel like in your body? And knowing that that's tightness in your body. I usually feel it in my gut. Other people feel in their shoulders or their chest or wherever you feel it, knowing that that actually came from a thought that you're not even aware of. Because our thoughts, how many thoughts do we have every day? 90,000 thoughts. I mean,
Is that enough? I'd say more.
It's like, there probably is, but it's like having that awareness, and the way to have that awareness is pay attention to your body.
Yeah.
And where does it feel tight? And then be aware of your body, be aware of that emotion, and you have the opportunity to say, hey, where'd that thought come from? And if not, you don't have that awareness, but choose to have a joyful thought.
Yeah.
And I struggled, you brought up the word happiness, and I want to clarify that a little bit for myself. Because as a child, as a young child, like 5 years old, I believed we had the right to be happy. But I lived with a mother who was really, really angry, but she'd put on a happy face when some people would come over. Well, she just got through yelled screaming at us, and then someone walks up and she's happy. That's not happiness. Happiness isn't that the look on your face. Happiness is the joy in your heart.
Yeah.
It's the gratitude that you hold in your heart. That's happiness.
Yeah. Yeah, and I agree with you. It's yourself finding the happiness in the tiny things in your life.
Right,
It's not what you present to the outside, because you can be showing sadness in your face but still find happiness in certain things,
right.
which is not opposed. How do you install that in your clients?
How do I install that? So
How
actually, I have
how do you well, sorry, how do you switch somebody from that me friends of mine used to call that pound puppy effect, like poor me, nobody loves me. I'm the saddest person in the world. Nobody can help me. I'm stuck here in that position. How do you get somebody to see the other side?
so I don't get them to see the other side. I empower them to choose to see for themselves. People have to want to change.
Mm-hmm.
People have to become sick and tired of being sick and tired,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so I do have a 7 week program that takes them through the process of a full week of learning how to use simple little tools that take all of like a minute of your time to become in the present moment. And so you have there is stuff that you can listen to that brings you into that, and I provide them with an app that does this,
Mm-hmm.
and then they learn about how did we develop our inner critic, did we develop that judge, and then the judge comes with 9 saboteurs, and those 9 saboteurs show up as a victim or an avoider or those hyperachievers. It's these as we become adults, and these to back up, this is these behaviors we learned as a child to
Mm-hmm.
because we wanted to be loved, we wanted to be secure.
Mm-hmm.
But when we grow up, they become our fear-based actions, and so we fall victim to the world. We fall an avoider to we don't want to get into conflict, or a pleaser. Somebody else wants to please everybody. Let's make everybody happy
Mm-hmm.
because I want everybody to like me, when you end up making people very, very mad because you're not hearing, you're not listening, you're not
Mm-hmm.
seeing, we don't see each other. And so then I shift them into this sage perspective, the sage powers, where we can learn to empathize with ourselves and others. We can learn to be curious. When you were a kid, you were so curious. Go back into that curiosity. All that energy is still inside of us. We go back into that energy of curiosity and the creative mindset, being innovative in our thoughts and being creative. If you're sitting down around a board meeting, instead of having the controller, you're doing this, and having everybody become an avoider or victim, it's everybody collaborating and everybody's ideas are powerful and bring everybody's idea to the forefront and then collectively choose it. Everybody feels good. So there's a good energy that's involved in that. And then I help people step into really what their values are, what matters to you.
Mm-hmm.
So my values aren't the same as your values,
Mm-hmm.
but I have my own, and that's what drives me and excites me. And everybody has what's really matters to them and the values that really matter to them.
Mm-hmm.
And so really learning that about ourselves and having the willingness to learn about yourself. It's really learning about, we're not here to always give to everybody else. We have to give to ourselves. We have to learn who we are, because when we show up with the truth and the essence and the love of who we are, more people are attracted to us.
True. Absolutely. I agree with everything you say, because it's I, the same principles that I work with. I use different words, but the same principles.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
my story was that I was in burnout for a long time, up and down, up and down. Um, I got a little bit out of it when I left Germany almost 19 years ago, 19 and a half. And then I came here and I got back into an office job, and being myself, I took care of everything. I said yes to everything. I did everything, and I did that for 10 years. And I didn't, we had a role play. My boss and I had a role play going that happened during some time before. And that ended up for whatever I said, he said no. So whenever I came with a request, I said no. My colleague came with the same request. He said yes. Or he would at least listen. Mine was no. So I had to learn to shift me and shift my reactions and shift how I asked, to take that out of the equation. Fun part in that was that I didn't realize that it was at that time, I didn't really realize how deep it went. So one of the first things was not to say no when he came with a request. It was shifting to I do my best, which showed the willingness to try it if I believed it or not, right? And that took the first part of that. But after a while, I realized that I became such a negative person that every sentence had a I hate, had a I don't like, an F, ... Most times. It's not.
Don't laugh.
No, don't laugh. And when I realized that, it was so interesting because when I realized that morning, I got an email from a friend of mine, from a close friend, business partner that I worked with. And we were in the middle of running a group of 65 people with seminars. And 7 o'clock in the morning, I sit there and get that email. And before that would have been aggravation and whatever. And she sent me an email saying, I have to distance myself from you. You're so negative that I cannot deal with it.
Mm.
And I looked at that email and I went like, yeah, she's right. And the week after, I quit my job. And I decided I choose happy. I want to be happy. I find my happiness in whatever I can. It's always easy, no. Is it always successful? No. But there's better times, like everything turns around. It's like a cycle.
Right.
And sometimes the times when you struggle give you the best insight for new things after.
Right.
Right. And the resilience. It was so interesting to see all of that come together, me realizing I was at the point where I needed to shift. Like I got the biggest kick that you can get basically in the butt in order for me to shift. And then I gave the boss 4 months to change, to find somebody else. And the running gag is that I still go back once in a while and do some work for him, but now in a freelance position, which is easier for me. But yeah, I chose happy and I've never looked back.
Yeah, and good on you for doing that, of even having the awareness of, oh wow, just as opposed to having foul words and turning it off and deleting it, being mad at the person. You actually stepped into owning yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what a lot of people don't do, or maybe they're afraid of that. But the thing is that what a better person to know than yourself, because you're always with yourself, right? And how do you want yourself to be? You want to be happy. You want to feel happiness. But you mentioned a word sad, but we can still be happy. We can still be in the essence of joy, feeling sad. And so there's another avenue that I was certified under the happiness studies with Dr. Tal Ben-Har. And he brought in the idea that's very, I believe everybody should know, is that we are human with emotions.
Mm-hmm.
And our emotions are valid.
Mm-hmm.
All emotions. And so sometimes people don't even know what an emotion word is. We know happy, sad, glad, whatever, simple words, but there's different words for deeper emotions of having more awareness. But the fact that, you don't be mad, don't do this, don't do that, but you have the right to be sad or glad or, have those emotions, but not to use those emotions against somebody else.
True. That's like me growing up in Bavaria. I swear a lot. That's the way we grew up. But I don't swear at people. I swear to get rid of emotions. I get my stuff, like when something happens, I yell F. Yeah, I use that word. But on the other hand, it's not stuck in me. Like whatever happens, the situation is gone, the power is out of it, and then I can deal. While if I sit there and it will not resolve. It will not that energy burst is just out of there instead of stuck in me. And that's why honestly, I'd rather have somebody swear, not at people. Not, that's not the right thing. But if something happens and you go like, holy crap, what happened here or whatever, totally fine by me.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, it's a great way. That's a great way of you. That's how you move energy that needs to be moved. And the other thing too is that you're not ruminating on it.
no,
It's here. Okay, I don't want it anymore, and it's gone. And however that process is for you is awesome. It's when we ruminate on it is when that's the mental fitness starts
yeah.
kicking in, where we
Yeah.
need to rewire that
I was like
thought.
that as a child. I would get angry or upset with somebody. Tears, always tears. I can tear up in no time, and I'm happy for that because
Sure.
again, it flushes out the emotions.
Yeah.
So I tear up, and then I would scream, slam the door behind me, be gone for 5 minutes, and come back because I get it out of my system.
Yeah.
My brother, on the other hand, he can be angry for 5 days and more. He doesn't talk to you.
Wow.
He's not as bad anymore. He has a very good influence now at home and his wife. But yeah, he was like that as a kid. Like we were so opposite, right? And yeah, no, I think if you find any way to express your emotions, do that. And if that's watching a cartoon and tearing up, that doesn't matter. You get rid of some of the stuff that's stuck in you.
But it's not, and not to ignore it.
Yeah.
So you can go and diverge it, your attention, but did you eliminate that in your essence, not hold on to it and just diverge it? So when you are done with that, you come back and you're still in it.
No, I'm not.
Yeah. So I'm not saying you, but the people
Yeah.
listening is that it's not saying, I mean, it's not saying that, okay, don't look at this emotion, let's shove it aside, let's go do this. No, it's feel that emotion and get rid of that emotion or allow it to be and be in its essence, and then I'm done with it. So then it doesn't, you're not coming back and ruminating on that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I find also like that's one part, like when you have somebody in your chair, on your couch or whatever, like, or you go to therapy and then, oh, I'm tearing up. Yeah, tear up and let them flow. Let the tears flow. There's something that needs to come out.
Of course.
Right. And instead of holding back and trying to be that perfect person that we are not, we are human beings. We are bundles of joy and bundles of sorrow and everything else. And not living it, it's not living.
True. That's back to what I said earlier, is that we are humans with emotions. That's the gift. I mean, if you look at animals, their mate dies, they move on. Or, they don't hold on to the sadness or whatever. Or I have these two cats, 2.5 years old. I stepped on someone's tail because he got right in front of me, and I kicked them. I'm walking and they run walking right in front of my legs, and I kick them. And they're like, oh, okay. And then I could go pet them and they're good. But if it was us, you know, but it's something to learn from the cats or from the dogs of unconditional love. Unconditional
or
love.
forgiving.
Yeah.
And one of the parts in forgiving is forgive yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
For not being perfect, for not being, but on the other hand, also reflect on what you do. Like I do that quite often. I look at what I'm doing and I look at the things that I say, and then I go back and think about if it's really what I wanted to say. Was I correct in doing it the way I did it? Not to put me down, but just to find out if there's room for improvement, because I don't want to be stuck on a behavior that I don't like on myself. Right? So I try to look at the things that I've done, and there's things that annoy me about myself. Like I can be messy as hell. I have admit that freely. But at the same time, I know that if I try to cope with that messiness at that moment when it happens, I cannot, because that shuts me down. Because then when I'm messy, it's usually when I'm either sick or when I'm mentally in a state where I'm already running on limits. So me then trying to keep everything perfect will make it worse.
Sure.
That's another point that we don't see is like, yes, mental health people with mental health challenges are often messy because they cannot cope. So if you come in and say, don't be so messy, or if somebody else judges them for that, is not helping. Instead of saying, I said to my friends, if you want to help me in that case, come in and hold a garbage bag. Just hold a garbage bag for me. Because just that person standing there and holding the garbage bag open for me makes it easier for me to let go of things. Right? While if people come in like mother sometimes, oh, what a mess, why don't you clean up? That's actually putting me right in the other direction. And that's things that people don't think about and don't speak about, is the judgment that can actually keep us caught in our challenges.
Right. And what you brought there too is gold on the essence that your mom comes in and why don't you pick things up? And then we create these stories. A child will create the story in our head of I'm not good enough. I can't make my mom happy. I'm never good enough. And so we carry that in our subconscious mind and we're always showing up, I'm not good enough. I can't make other people happy. I'm this, I'm that. Those are our inner critics. Those are the stories that are quietly running the program in the back of our head.
Mm-hmm.
And rewiring that is kind of essential. It's not necessarily, we don't, as a child, you don't know to let that go. You don't know how to handle that because you don't have those coping skills. You're a kid.
Yeah.
And so, as an adult, hey, it's okay to be messy.
Yeah, it's like when I was in burnout, when somebody said he would come, I would start cleaning my house. Like my grandmother, which is so funny. My grandmother was the same
Oh,
way.
cool. What a great example, I
And
guess.
and I wouldn't let anybody in the house because the house was messy. I would meet in outside. Nowadays, when friends come and I say, you know my mess, you come in. And some people I don't want to have them in my house, so I don't let them in. But the people that are close to me that know me, I
Sure.
don't know, is she living like they know me. If they don't like me, they don't like me if I'm clean either. That's the point. And it's not that I'm not clean.
But
Yeah.
your house isn't a reflection of who you are.
No, it's a reflection of my mental state. That's something that I've learned lately.
Hmm.
It's really a reflection of my mental state, because if I'm functioning, I keep everything at least a baseline. But if I'm not functioning, if I'm going into that I have to, the first thing that falls apart is the house. And having 3 pets doesn't help either. Because I have the 2 cats and I have a dog. And the
Oh,
dog sheds
perfect.
the most.
Right.
Right. Yeah, no, it's interesting to see when people are so bound on especially family members. I see that in my group of clients and friends often. Family members can be so judgmental because they mean so well and they are so basically shutting you down with what they're saying.
So my perspective on that is when others are so judgmental of us, it's because they're judging themselves too. They're comparing themselves to you, to the other
Mm-hmm.
person, not you, but to the yous. So if I'm to judge somebody, I am in essence comparing myself to them, and judging them gives that false feeling of feeling better.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a false feeling of happiness. It's a false feeling of feeling good because you're comparing yourselves to others.
So I'm better than you.
Yeah, we're not. We're equal. Nobody's better than anybody else. And then that really isn't a reflection. You're outside. It doesn't matter what it is. It's not a reflection of you inside. And you inside is your essence of energy. it's your beingness. And that doesn't really matter. I mean, the house we live in, the neighborhood we live in, all that stuff doesn't, it's only there. It's a materialistic object that's there, but it doesn't reflect really who we truly are inside.
Mm.
And the truth of who we really are is love,
Mhm.
is really love.
Mm. And if the love doesn't shine, usually it's fear.
Yep.
People caught in fear or anger.
Hmm.
And even anger, I think most of the times is based out of fear.
Yep. All fear. There's only two emotions, love and fear. Love is love. Fear is all these things. It's all an essence of fear. Overwhelm, anxiety, frustration. That's all fear-based emotions.
Mm. That's cool.
Yeah.
So you got into your sports for you to change, for you to help yourself. Did I understand that correctly?
I um, discovered me as I got into sports. So the transition was my brothers and I did a MS 150 ride. MS is the Multiple Sclerosis Society, and our mother died of Lou Gehrig's disease. And we were doing a fundraiser and participated in this 150-mile bike ride. And I did that with my son and his cousin and my two brothers. And as a kid, I always loved riding a bike. As a kid, I would run out into the hills behind me as an adventurer, being on an adventure. I love adventures, but that was hidden in my beingness because I was so caught up in life and toxic relationships and all that stuff. And when I finally woke up and got out of that, my brothers did this, I fell back in love with writing. And so
Mhm.
the kids and I moved, we were in Arizona, we moved back to California, and I just started writing. And then someone said, well, let's do a run, let's do a marathon. And then it's all these things that came up that's just like, what's my potential?
Mhm.
What I would never have known I'd be doing this stuff 30 years ago. And it's stepping into the potential of me. And
Mhm.
I'm curious on the 100-mile runs and taking on a big run next year, which is going to be 250 miles. And it's this discovery of really me inside and my potential. What's more for me to grow and be a better person, version of me. And so I did look at, am I running away from stuff? No, it's like I'm just more inspired. I've been to France doing Paris Brest Paris. I've been to Greece when my husband was running a race. We've been to France, Italy, and Switzerland running a 100-mile race called UTMB. And we've been all over the world. So the world has opened up for me, which is just mind blowing. If I didn't change, I wouldn't be where I'm in
Mhm.
today.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, it's gotten to be, it's not like nobody has to be. I've trained a lot of people who are inspired by that and who are curious. It's being in that curiosity, like I talked about earlier, of what the human potential is being curious on how my body can run 100 miles this weekend and then go do it again next weekend,
Mhm.
how that looks and how, just the body wants to recover, the body wants to survive. And the whole essence of our beingness is how we honor our mind and our body. And I'm just curious. And so it just opened up a world for me that I never knew would be.
Mhm.
And so now I'm going to step into another plateau on that next
Mhm.
year and see what that is. And so there's another tool I have. It's an energy tool that I do an assessment with people because nobody's living to their potential.
Mhm.
Sometimes we're not even awake to our potential.
Mhm.
And so through my own journey, I realized as a child, I was always curious and always wanted to see what was on the other side of that next hill, what was out there, what was beyond. And then I come home and get grounded, and then I go do it again.
I tell my students and clients usually become the child, become the
Right.
explorer, become curious about what's working for you and what's not working for you. Because how often do we go where somebody says, this is the way it goes, and it's not really what works for you. And then we just stick with it because somebody said it's the top thing to do, like diets,
Right.
whatever,
Right.
exercise, ice bath. The newest thing is that they found out that women cannot do the ice bath because our temperature is not supposed to be that low. So, supposedly, back and forth. But what I say is whatever you do, when it doesn't make you smile at the end of the day, when it doesn't make you happy, then it's definitely not resonating with you, and it's definitely worthwhile looking at something.
Exactly.
Right? That's why I said I'm not a runner. I don't like to run. I like to
And
walk.
that's
Fine.
good. I mean,
Or
that's
hike.
good. And that's what I don't want people to go, oh, I can't do that. That's okay. I'm not asking other people to live my life. I'm asking you to live your life and what works for you. You know, it's hopefully to inspire somebody else saying, hey, what potential do I have?
Mhm,
And be curious about that. Be open about that.
mhm,
And so, yeah, I give an energy assessment that shows that to people, and we go do a deep dive into that. And it's
mhm.
amazing what people like, oh my God, I didn't know that. And then why aren't we there? Because we hold ourselves back.
Yeah,
And why do
so
we hold ourselves back? Because we're living in fear.
that's the point. But it's so amazing to see, like, doing the talks and doing the conversations lately. I've learned so many things that can tell you a little bit more about yourself. Not that it's something that you have to take as written in stone, but the energy assessments. Somebody else does Chinese birth charts in relation to right now. So astrology charts, your horoscopes, all of that is information that might make sense for something. And if
Right.
something makes sense, then it's easier for you to follow that because you're not doubting anymore.
Hmm.
You're not stuck in that place. I don't know where that comes from. But you can go like, oh, now it makes sense why. And then you can shift it around because you can use it as a base that you can build up on.
Hmm.
And that's what I found like I have my tools, but I'm
Hmm.
always amazed when I see sorry when I see others and what they bring it to the table. Because the more information we can provide for our clients
Sure.
and even friends or family, the more information we can pass on, the more information is there that they can make better choices for themselves.
Right. Exactly.
Right. And
Yeah, like you said earlier, everything sounds the same, and it's what resonates with people, what resonates with you, and I've gotten into reflexology, I've gotten into Reiki, I've gotten into other things, and and for you and me, it's what resonates in my heart that I truly believe in that it will help a person going from that stress, overwhelm, challenges, threats in life to being in that and having a tool the rest of your life to do this. And it's a journey. Life's a journey. It isn't okay. I'm here now. I'm gonna now step into the next chapter of my life, and then what do? I die. No, it's a journey. Enjoy that journey.
and as you're an energy worker like we just shift energetic states. We go into the other realm.
Right.
That was so funny. Somebody said to me, he's like, not funny, but for me, fun to see. Somebody said, I'm afraid of dying.
Mm,
And I listened to him, and it was just a phone conversation. And I listened to him and I said, what are you afraid of? And he says that there's nothing after.
mm,
I'm like, hmm. And then I thought about my reaction to that. Like, what is my perspective on dying? For me, it's really just like a shift of energetic being. Energy is never lost.
right.
Energy just transverse into something else and becomes something else. So
Right.
is the essence lost? No, never.
Mm-mm.
Right. So
Right.
what is there to fear after?
Yeah,
Pain?
it's this
Yes.
body. This is
It's
a house for
getting
our
yeah,
energy.
it's getting there. Like if I have to die, I hope it's gonna be fast because I don't want to be suffering. Um, but if it happens today, I'm okay with that. right? That's the other part that made me realize that I live without regrets, or with very little regrets. I can never say none or nothing, like, because there's always a little bit that you might regret. But it's not that I would say, like, I couldn't go today because I didn't do this or didn't do that. Do I have goals? Yes, I have goals. I have ambitions. I want to get things done. I have intentions. But I don't fear if it would be done today, it would be done. Right.
Yeah, I agree that we fear death because we are ego based. And when we pass, I before I even got into this, when I was in that toxic relationship and my life was in hell, um, my mom passed away.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to her, and I had a very strange relationship with my mom. She was very angry. They didn't like me, but that doesn't matter. But I felt her energy leave the room when she passed. And so we're left with this body, but the energy left the room. It was very weird. It was a very weird. I wasn't familiar with all of that we do today, but I was and didn't know it.
Mm-hmm.
And we are energetic beings.
Mm-hmm.
And like I started this off with too, is and the energy is in our body.
Mm-hmm.
And the energy leaves, and by that time, the energy doesn't die. Our spirit doesn't die. It's this that dies. It's this body that dies. It's this ego brain that communicates with everybody else and inspires or makes them mad or whatever dies. But the essence of our spirit doesn't die. And I don't know where mine gets to go. But I hope I'm aware when it goes there.
It's so funny because I always say I have at least three people. I don't say ghosts because it's their essence that's there. It's my father going like, yeah, didn't do right in a loving way. And the grandmothers that tap the shoulders like, well done, right? So and I can, without me putting the hand there, I feel that and I feel that and I know whom it belongs to, right?
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
And that's the fun part. Like when you start diving into the energy healing,
Mm-hmm.
or just in your own awareness. My training was therapeutic touch, so we did a almost like a precursor to that, a course that's called Raising Bioenergetic Awareness. And in that course, what we did is we made people aware through their five senses how they perceive energy, which is really cool because you have so much more information, and all of a sudden your intuition is so much better because
Right.
you know it's yours or not, you know what to take. What I learned during that time, or what happened for me, is that I get messages that I have to tell people. And in the beginning, I said, I'm sorry, I have to say that. I don't know where it comes from. And these days I just say, I have to tell you this, and you can take it or leave it. I don't care. I just have to speak it out. And that's usually, I have a gut feeling, if I don't speak those words, wherever they come from, whatever message they might be, if I don't speak them, I feel like I'm throwing up the next minute if I don't get them out of my system. So again, my body's telling me this needs to be spoken. Where does it come from? I don't know. Do I need to know? No. And do they need to take it? No. I just have to speak it, and then I'll let it go. Right. Getting it out of my system.
Right. Very cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I love to see in my clients when they get to that moment where they realize their own stuff, because I don't like to tell them this is the way to go.
Right.
I try to listen and then ask questions and then see where their perspective takes them and how they can shift their way. Just because I find everybody has to go their own path and everybody has to find their own way. So
yep.
Yeah, really neat.
Very true.
So, do we have anything else?
I feel like we've covered a lot of ground here.
We did a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're gonna post your information if anybody's interested in working with you or reaching out to you, we're going to post your information in the description as always. And I hope to see you soon.
Yeah.
So that's for it today. And if anybody's interested, please reach out to Karen directly. And Karen, thank you so much for coming in.
And Natasha, thank you so much for having me. Very fun.
Thoughts are racing, spinning fast. Ideas flow, but never last. Waves of wonder, thoughts untamed. Nothing ever stays the same. Rambling on, no straight lines. Welcome to my busy mind. Ideas fade, all the shine. Oh, welcome to my